Good evening. Tonight I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable from behind the veil. Ever since man was first able to think, he has tried to find reasons for those happenings that he has been unable to explain. Yet even today, with the knowledge of our universe which we have amassed, despite the myths that we have exploded, there are still areas about which we know nothing. The world beyond our understanding, the world behind the veil. Our story tonight concerns the dark and violent circumstances surrounding one of the most famous criminals in history. George Durst was a normal citizen of his time, a man completely average in all respects but one.
I knew it. Tucked away down at the bottom of the page. Mr. Walter Durst will give the last of his lectures on clairvoyance tonight at the Cumberland Hall.
What?
The advertisement. So discreet it's practically invisible.
I thought it was quite tasteful.
I wish you'd let me deal with that side of the business. You have no head for publicity.
I had such an odd dream last night.
Not black horses again. I couldn't stand another funeral.
It was most frightening. I wish I knew what it meant.
Good heavens, they've discovered petroleum in Cheshire.
Judith, please listen to me.
Walter, I am sorry. I didn't realize you were so upset.
Last night, Judith, do you really believe I somehow have an ability to see into the future?
Good heavens, dear, we know you do. I mean, some people are left-handed, others have perfect pitch.
It's happened
and you
before, hasn't it? Time after time. The fire in the hotel at Bournemouth, the diphtheria epidemic.
Walter, what is it?
Judith, last night I saw murder done. Why must it happen to me? Why not to someone who understands these things? I don't want it.
Now, Walter, don't be so foolish. We have to make a living, dear, and I'm not sure that you'll be very good at anything else.
I was so frightened last night.
Then why didn't you wake me?
I was so sound asleep I didn't like to. Just after I went to sleep, a most odd feeling, as though something were trying to get inside my head, something pushing and probing. And then an odd sound like nothing I'd ever heard before. And then the picture, misty at first, the buildings all blurred. And then, all at once, it came quite clear. I was walking along a darkened alley in the East End. There was no sound. I could hear nothing but my own breathing. I wanted to save the woman, and at the same time I knew I couldn't stand to see what was happening. Suddenly I found myself outside some horrible drinking house. I remember hearing the ticking of a clock. I knew it was important to see the time. My body floated as though it were no more than mist, and the light at the corner of the lane seemed to draw me to it. I felt as if something were guiding me, begging me to look up at the street sign. Bucks Row. I saw it quite clearly, and yet I'd never even heard of the place before. I wish I knew what it all meant.
Darling, why should it mean anything? It's probably just an ordinary old nightmare after all that lobster you had last night.
No. There was such purpose to it, almost as though I'd been made to see it for some reason.
In the early hours of this morning, Timothy Durrant, a cart driver, was returning to his lodgings in Whitechapel when he saw what he thought was a tarpaulin lying in the gutter. He crossed the road for a closer look, only to discover that it was a woman lying there. A lighted match revealed that her throat had been cut. The body has been identified as that of Mary Nichols, 42, a woman of unfortunate reputation, who had last been seen alive but very drunk just before 2:30. The police surgeon has stated that in addition to the throat wounds which caused death, the body had been almost completely...
Does it say where it happened?
Yes. The body was found in Bucks Row.
Judy.
The doctor also stated that, in his opinion, the crime had been committed by somebody with considerable knowledge of surgery.
Yes, the surgeon's knife, the scalpel.
Moreover, it was the same person who brutally murdered Martha Turner 3 weeks ago on the night of August the 7th. An inquest is being held.
All the details.
Walter, you've got to go to the police.
The police?
There can't be any motive for killing these terrible women, so the man is probably mad. Don't you see there may be more murders?
And more dreams.
Walter, think what it would mean if you could go to the police and tell them exactly when and where the next killing would be.
No, I won't have any part of it. It's nothing to do with me.
Walter, that is a disgraceful attitude. The seeing of justice done isn't merely the business of the police. It's the responsibility of every member of the community. Why, it might mean the saving of countless young lives.
Oh, they were hardly young.
Walter, it is your duty to go to the police.
All right. I suppose you're right. As usual.
And, darling, think of the publicity.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good morning. I want to see someone about the Whitechapel murder.
What connection?
Well, it's rather a personal matter. I prefer to see whoever's in charge of the case.
Right. A name, sir? Clairvoyant.
Yes?
You're new, aren't you?
I beg your pardon?
You haven't been in before.
No.
Well, Inspector McWilliams in charge of the case. I'll tell him you're here. Let's see if you don't mind waiting a while.
I mean, all those people
A
have...
lot of money, sir. Brought them all out today. Gypsy Jim, One-Arm Nell, and the old lady with the crystal ball. She can tell us the identity of Jack the Ripper for a mere £50.
Jack the Ripper.
Well, that's what the newspapers have tagged him. Oh, we have them all, sir, especially on a case like this.
But, Constable, I assure you I didn't come here because of any reward. Last night in a dream, I saw the exact circumstances of the Bucks Row murder. Several hours before it occurred. The time, the place, everything.
Now, sir, you look a nice, sensible sort of gent. You know, the wife had the same trouble. Wake me up in the middle of the night, she would, just to tell me about these here dreams, so I got her some stuff called slumber pills. Only a cheap medicine, you know, but efficacious. Very efficacious. Never had any more trouble with her since.
Thank you, Constable. I assure you'll have no more trouble with me either. Good morning.
Emily, don't lag behind. I wish to see someone about Jack the Ripper. My little girl has some information I know will prove invaluable.
Have a seat,
It
Mama.
happened yesterday afternoon during my usual Tuesday seance. Emily was in rapport with Liati, her little Aztec friend, when suddenly there was a swirl of orange ectoplasm. A ghastly grinning face appeared.
Charlatans! Charlatans!
Your health is your biggest asset. Find Anthem Blue Cross plan starting at $0 a month.
The city of millions, once teeming with life after dark, now becomes silent and deserted with the setting of the sun. Children are off the streets with the beginning of nightfall. Women go nowhere unless accompanied by their men. Doors are locked, windows boarded up. London becomes a city of panicking individuals, no man trusting his neighbor or friend. Newspapers demand in their boldest type the apprehension of this mad killer. The rewards mount. Every available police officer is on duty. Groups of men, self-appointed vigilante committees, hunt through dark streets and back alleys. But to no avail. The man they seek might well have been a ghost.
Judith! 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 Look! Look at my hand! Look! It happened again. Quite suddenly. I saw the body. He'd cut an ear off. It was lying in the gutter. I picked it up. You see, the blood's still on my hand.
Walt.
No, I won't wipe it off. They can see it at Scotland Yard. It's a manifestation. They'll have to believe me.
Walter, it's your blood. You must have
What?
dug your nails into the palm.
No. I saw it, though. There was a red flower in her dress. And she had a bunch of grapes. And she was still clutching the bunch of grapes.
My dear, you must eat something before you go.
Oh, well. Oh, no, not the police. They'd only laugh at me again.
Then we'll have our dinner and they can laugh at both of us if they want to. I'm coming with you this time.
First, please, thank you. 2 pennies. Yes, madam. First, please.
I think I've got some pennies. Change at Oxford Circus and take...
He's here. I can feel it. Somewhere quite near.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Jack the Ripper. He's here on this bus. Jack the Ripper. He's here on this bus.
Where?
I don't know. But I can feel the vibrations. It's the same man, the man in the dream.
Regent's Park.
Walter, are you certain?
Of course.
Then we must do something. Try to find him.
It's vanishing. It's fading away.
Regent's Park.
Walter, quickly.
Oh, it's Rudolph. No, Judith. It's madness. It's too dangerous.
There, going into the park. Walter, don't stop me. Which way did he go?
I don't know. I can't feel it anymore.
Well, try. Concentrate. You must.
It's no use. He's gone. It just isn't there.
He's so close.
Well, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Besides, it would have been madness. Now, I think we ought to go and tell the police.
Tell them what?
Why, that Jack the Ripper's in the park. They might close the gates.
Walter, sometimes I despair of you. Come on, we're going to Scotland Yard.
Oh, I didn't expect to see you here again, sir.
I want to see Inspector McWilliam, isn't it?
He's busy. We're trying to find someone called Jack the Ripper. Perhaps you've read about it.
The constable.
Walter, let me. Constable, today is the 30th of September.
It is.
And it may be remembered as the day that Jack the Ripper committed his 4th murder. That is, if you just stand there and do nothing to prevent it.
Ma'am, I had my orders, that's all.
But please, you must let me see the inspector now. This afternoon, I had a vision of a murder that I know is going to take place tonight. You must understand, we can stop it, otherwise the blood will be on my hands as much as...
Walter, what?
So a woman will be found dead tomorrow, with her ear severed from the head.
What did you say?
I saw it in the dream. The ear was lying beside her in the gutter.
Constable, this way, ma'am. I'm Inspector McWilliam. What's all this about a dream?
My name is Walter Durst. I'm a professional clairvoyant. Perhaps my card will...
And what did you dream?
Well, I imagined I was walking along a lane in the East End. There was a woman, her throat had been cut, and the ear was lying beside her in the gutter. It's not the first time, you see. The night that Mary Nichols was killed, I saw it just as it happened. The time, the place.
When did you send the note?
What?
The note you received this morning.
Oh, I haven't sent any note. I have been here before. The constable will tell you.
I'd like a specimen of your handwriting. Sit down, Mr. Durst, will you?
Oh, I don't see what my handwriting's got to do with it.
Please write.
Well, what shall I write?
Just 3 words. Dear old boss.
Dear old boss. I wish you'd explain.
Mr. Durst, you didn't by any chance dream the location of this murder?
No, not this time, but I'm
What
sure
do you mean
can
not
fi-
this time?
Well, I told you, the other dream, the night that Mary Nichols was killed.
But you didn't write to us last time.
I don't know what you're talking about. Then you must believe me, Inspector. I told you that I saw it.
No one knew of this letter except the men in my office and the man who wrote the letter. Did you write this letter?
No, I didn't write it. I didn't. Judith! Judith!
You will be kept in custody until we can make further investigations in the morning.
Please let me go. Don't you see what you're doing?
That's enough. Come on.
But the woman, I saw what he did to her. You couldn't tell it was a human face. You could save her.
Perhaps I have.
Please. Please let me help you.
All right, Constable.
Well, then, God help you. What time is it?
Are you still awake?
The time, please. They took my watch away.
Oh, I don't know. It's a bit after 1. You'd better get some shut-eye.
Not this night. Tell Inspector McWilliam to have a good night's rest. Tomorrow he may not sleep quite so easily.
All right. They want to see you at the yard. Can you hear me?
God forgive them. Forgive them. So it happened. And it was in your power to save that life.
2 lives. 2 women murdered within an hour. One in a yard at the back of Berners Street, the other in an archway off Mitre Square. Both of them hacked to pieces. You were right in every detail. Every man available was on duty in the East End last night. And every suspect we had was under lock and key. It's impossible. Yet it happened. It's impossible. But you knew. How?
That's a question I've been asking myself all my life, Inspector. Perhaps the answer will come later.
I trust, sir, that you will accept my apologies for what happened last night.
Inspector, I owe you my supreme gratitude. This was no imprisonment. It was a release. Until last night, I've been afraid of this gift I have. Ashamed because I was not quite normal. My wife had to have my courage and my convictions for me. Now I know this power was given to me for a purpose. Respect must be paid to it, and to me.
I wish to heaven I'd believed you last night. Should you dream again, of course I shall act immediately.
We can act now.
Walter, last night?
No, this was no dream. But I can find Jack the Ripper. Probably tonight.
This time I shan't even ask how. Every policeman in London is at your disposal.
And that won't be necessary. Shall we meet at my house at 7 o'clock?
At 7.
This is where the Ripper lives.
G.R. Willardon, FRCS.
Do we not?
I don't know. I don't think we can wake them at this late hour.
This is where he lives.
It's incredible. A large house in Harley Street, FRCS.
Fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons. Inspector, there's a dog lying at the foot of the stairs.
Seems to be light on, sir.
Hagen. Hagen, be quiet. Stop barking. Yes, what is it?
We're from Scotland Yard. I'd like to speak to Mr. Willardon.
Who is it?
Mrs. Willardon?
Yes?
I'm Chief Inspector McWilliam, Mr. Durst. I'm sorry to disturb you so late, but we should like to ask you a few questions.
I must ask you to leave. It is very late.
Mrs. Willardon, this concerns the Whitechapel murders. It would be very easy for me to get a search warrant.
The police?
Mr. Willardon?
No. My name is Hatherley. I'm Mrs. Willardon's doctor. May I ask the reason for this visit?
I would like to see Mr. Willardon.
That's impossible.
Will you come into the library, gentlemen?
All right, Constable.
funeral is tomorrow.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Willard. When did this happen, Doctor?
Cerebral hemorrhage late yesterday afternoon. You can understand why Mrs. Willardon is very distressed.
I should like to see inside.
Inspector, this is outrageous. I insist you take your men and leave this house instantly.
Did you sign the death certificate, Doctor?
I did.
May I see it, please?
It's not here. It's at my surgery.
Why did you come here?
We have reason to believe that your husband knew something about the Whitechapel murders.
Why?
I am not at liberty to say.
You think he's Jack the Ripper?
Mrs. Willardon, I'm here to ask questions, not make accusations.
This is a strange...
Did you notice anything unusual about your husband's behavior these last few weeks?
Mr. Willardon has been ill
I'm
for some...
talking to Mrs. Willardon. Will you please answer my question?
You know, don't you? You know.
Myra.
Of course they know. Don't be such a fool. Why else would they have come here? They followed him. They saw the blood.
Blood?
Mrs. Willardon is hysterical, you understand?
What blood?
He was wearing his new coattails, wasn't he? I was standing on the stairs when he came in. Blood. All over his white waistcoat.
Myra, I beg you.
It doesn't matter now. I don't want the secret any longer.
Why didn't you tell the police?
He was my husband. I loved him very much once. He was so gentle then. Seems quite a long time ago when he had to give up the practice. It was terrible seeing the change in him. I wonder what made him do those things. One day I heard Pagan screaming down here in the library. He wasn't allowed in here at all. When I came in, he was sitting just over there, biting at his paw. There was a hatpin right through it. He used to love the dog so much, too. And there were the bats. You know that he paid boys off the street to catch bats for him. They'd bring them in a bag to the back door. I saw once what he did with them. He dipped them in paraffin and lit them so that he could see the poor burning things go flapping round his head, and he'd clap his hands and laugh like a child. Then at night, he began to go out.
So, the funeral is tomorrow.
Yes, to all intents and purposes. The obituary notice has appeared in the Times, and a few relatives have been invited to a simple service in the morning.
Where is he, Doctor? A certificate of insanity.
Yes, Willardon was sent this morning to an insane asylum outside Edinburgh.
May I keep this?
You will find it registered and in order. You realize what this means?
Yes, of course.
Yes, once certified and committed to an institution, a person is beyond the jurisdiction of the courts. Not even the law can touch Willardon, no.
Well, there's nothing more we can do.
No, it's better we should never know. And now, if you'll excuse us, Inspector, it has been an agonizing ordeal for Mrs. Willardon, and she has to rise early in the morning for the funeral.
Inspector, is it a terrible thing to hope there will be more murders in Whitechapel?
Dr. Willardon was beyond the reach of English law. His guilt or innocence could never be proved. But strangely enough, the slaughter in Whitechapel ended that night. Jack the Ripper never claimed another victim. But what of Walter Durst? How does one explain his gift of precognition, his ability to foretell the future? How could he foresee in such detail the victims and the circumstances surrounding their deaths? He'd never seen any of the women involved. He'd never even been to the places where they met their death. And most of all, how was he able to lead the police to a man he did not even know existed? There is no explanation known to us. But this we do know. On that night, over 70 years ago, ended a reign of terror unlike any known before or since. Please join me again for another journey into the world of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Good night.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now, wish me luck, Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application and helping me write my...
You're going to do a scene with Boris Karloff. Your lines will appear right here. Read them loud and clear.
Come in. You know why I've asked you here. You must convince the villagers that I'm harmless. You're trembling. Are you afraid? Have some nice hot coffee. It's butternut. Like it? Butternut has found a way of making coffee richer without being bitter. Butternut has found a way of making coffee richer without being bitter. Take this. Oh, don't worry. I've lots more. Butternut coffee, regular and instant, rich but never bitter.
Boris, you know I'm really a fan of yours.
That's very kind of you indeed, Vincent. Thank you.
You know, I saw one of your pictures last night.
Did you really?
Yes.
What a coincidence. I saw you the night before.
Tell me, was that your last picture?
I hope not.
The two of us. No boogeyman is greater than the two of us. The people scream about the team of Karloff and Price, although we're as nice as can be. My buddy and me, there's just the two of us, and we'll be always traveling on. The two of us, there's lots of gore in pictures for the two of us. He used to shine as Frankenstein, and I was the fly. They'd force us to die every time to pay for the crime. They killed the two of us, but we'll be always traveling on. And late in the evening we come out and play a couple of monsters on their merry way. We go to the graveyard for a corpse or two. So treat us kind or you may find the next one is you. That's enough. That's enough. See if you can stop him, Mr. Karloff. You take on, Junior. Oh, no, take a crack at it, Daddy.
Well, nice to know you've still got it.
You know, this is the first time I've ever seen the corpse set up with a driver.
And the corpse happens to be driving. What a macabre sense of humor. What do you mean? You know, I really think you're one of us.
Yes, you know, he'd probably be a marvelous monster.
Yeah.
The three of us. A tavern scout should hear about the three of us. No movie screen has ever seen a ghastlier sight than we are tonight on the show. Bodo-de-odo. Three of us, and we'll be always traveling on.
Let's say it again.
It's just the three of us, and we'll be always traveling on.
One more time.
It's just the three of us, and we'll be always traveling on.
No!
Peacock is the exclusive streaming home of Oppenheimer, winner of 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture.
3. The president needs to know what's next. 2.
And Best Director Christopher Nolan.
What's next? 1.
Oppenheimer, streaming now exclusively on Peacock.
NFL fans, gear up for the upcoming season with our best offer of the year. Save $215 when you bundle NFL Sunday Ticket with YouTube TV. Offer ends May 16th. Add it now before time runs out. Sign up today. Terms and embargoes apply.
It's moving. It's alive. It's alive. It's moving. It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive! Oh, in the name of God! Now I know what it feels like to be God! Oh.
Who are you? I'm Maria. Will you play with me? I can make a boat. See how mine floats? No, you're hurting me! No!
Come closer, please. I've something to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you do? This is Black Sabbath.
Here in the more sophisticated part of London's money belt lives a Verdilac. It's taken me quite some time to track him down, but finally I've cornered him in a very splendid flat at the top of this house behind me. What is a Verdilac? Didn't I tell you? Well, come with me now and we'll find out from the Verdilac himself. Mr. Karloff, what exactly is a Verdilac?
A Verdilac, I think, is the Russian word for vampire. And that's what it is.
Is it based in legend, or is it something created just for the film Black Sabbath?
No, I think it's actually the legend. I think it's the real word for it that they use for vampire. And of course it is about a vampire, at least the third story of the series.
Mr. Karloff, you've played many monsters and frightening and terrifying creatures. Do you ever regret having been typecast in this way?
Good heavens, no. I think any actor who gets typed is very lucky. We're all typed. If you're a juvenile, you play juveniles, so you're typed as a juvenile. And if you get typed in a line of country or if you get known for a certain kind of part that is not too restricted, I think you're very lucky. It becomes a trademark. And if you achieve a trademark, I think you're a very fortunate actor.
Mr. Karloff, how did you start off in the business?
Oh, a pack of lies, of course. I went to Canada when I was a young man. I went down to Seattle. I was in Vancouver. I told a pack of lies to an agent, said I'd had a great deal of experience, and I told him all the parts that I played in London, all the things that I could remember having seen. I said I'd been in them. And I had been ill and come to Canada for my health and was now prepared to re-enter the ranks of my profession. And he kept a straight face, and a year later he was stuck for somebody to send to a company, and he sent for me, and I went. And that was it.
And that was your start in the theatre?
That was my start, yes.
What about films? How did all that start?
Well, I had about 10 years of small stock and rep sort of wandering around, and then I wound up in a show of the Virginian in the Middle West somewhere. And we toured out to California, and the thing closed. Then I played in stock out there and then found myself out of work in Los Angeles. And a friend of mine knew the casting director for Douglas Fairbanks. This is the elder. And I made my debut in films as an extra in a film that he was doing, a thing called His Majesty the American, I think. I was a Mexican soldier.
But Frankenstein's monster really made you a star.
Changed the whole course of my life, and is the best friend any actor ever had, I can assure you.
Now, a lot of authoritative people say that horror films have a bad effect on people, and some say they have a beneficial effect on people. Which do you agree with?
Well, I don't like the word horror to start with. The word horror really implies revulsion, which isn't the idea of the exercise at all. It's entertainment, it's excitement, it's thrill, it's suspense. If you like, it's terror, but certainly not horror. I don't know if they're beneficial. I don't think they do any harm. I can only speak of my own experience when I played the monster, and I only played him 3 times in the first 3 films. Any letters that I got from youngsters, beyond just asking for a photograph, all express great compassion for the monster, so I don't think it would be very harmful.
Do you yourself believe in the supernatural, in ghosts and things like this?
Well, I would hate to say I didn't, because they've been very good to me in my professional career. I don't know whether I am really superstitious or not. I'm careful, put it that way.
When you're preparing for a role, do you do much study, as, say, the method actors do?
Well, I have my own opinion about the method actors. I don't think a great deal of it. And perhaps I can put it in a nutshell. I believe Alfred Lunt was asked that question, how he prepared before he went on the stage, this is. And he thought for a moment, and he said, well, I stand in the wings, I listen for my cue, I check my fly, go on and try not to bump into people. And that was his method, and I think it's about mine.
Black Sabbath is about to be released, and I'm sure it'll be an enormous success.
Well, I hope so.
And I believe you have 3 more films lined up.
Yes. It's for American international films, and the next one goes, I think, in January.
Do you ever think about retiring?
Good Lord, no. What for? Just so long as anybody is foolish enough to employ me, I'm delighted to do it.
It's extraordinary to meet a star who's been a star for so long, who really seems to have no regrets. Have you any regrets at all about your career?
No regrets at all, except that inevitably, Anno Domini, it must be drawing to a close. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoy working, and I think I'm a very fortunate man.
Any ambitions left to achieve?
Yes, one that won't be achieved. I would love to be in a play in London. I've been in New York. I've had 10 years in small stock and rep in the States. I haven't appeared on the stage in London. And I don't think that can happen now because I've got a bad knee, which will make it rather difficult. But I would love to have done that sometime. However, you can't have everything.
Well, Mr. Karloff, we came here today to meet Verdilac. We met a very charming gentleman. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Very kind of you. Thank you. Sir Latimer, I trust you're feeling rested and a little more alert than last night. Up, my friend, it's getting late. We still have to arouse Grant and Cherry. Up, I said. Up!
I woke up and you were gone. Where have you been? Darling, what's wrong?
Honey, I can't tell you right now. I gotta get that Professor Holden and bring him back here.
Oh, you tell me now. What's happened? What did you see downstairs?
I saw those same three men. And my uncle.
Well, is that any reason to go rushing after a man you don't even know?
Something horrible going on. Something unholy. I don't even know if I should believe what I saw. Professor Holden will know. He knows my uncle. He knows his work. That's why I gotta bring him back here. Now, Molly, I want you to lock that door from the inside. Don't let anyone in until I get back. Do you understand?
How long he'll be gone?
Well, it's almost midnight now. I'll be back by 1 o'clock. Now, you stay in this room.
You're making absolutely no sense.
I'm sorry, Professor Holden. I guess I'm not exactly rational after what I just saw.
Then I suggest we continue when you've got hold of yourself.
No, I've got to know now, and you can help me. You were my uncle's superior. You sat in judgment on him. There was some sort of an informal trial, wasn't there? Professors Charing, Grant, and Latimer testified against my uncle?
I don't know where you got your information, but it was decided that Professor Markison would resign for reasons of health. That's all I can tell you.
Professor, please. I've got to know, and you can help me. I've seen and heard things that make me doubt my sanity. Please.
Well, Professor Markison claimed that he had devised certain chemical techniques with which he could raise the dead. The key to his discovery, according to him, was a fluid which he extracted from the mold found in in graves. To prove his theory, he invited 3 of his colleagues to his laboratory for a secret demonstration. Naturally, they told me.
Professors Latimer, Charing, and Grant. Do you know what's become of them?
All dead, along with Markison.
Along with Markison? You mean you think Conrad Markison's dead?
Or didn't you know?
My uncle's alive. I saw him less than an hour ago.
Well, that's impossible. Conrad Markison is buried in the family crypt. I attended his funeral.
Oh.
You can confirm what I'm saying very simply. Go to the crypt and see for yourself.
I intend to, Professor. I intend to. Molly? Molly! Molly! Molly!
Good evening. We've been waiting. Allow me to introduce my former colleagues, Professor Latimer, Dr. Clark.
Where's Molly?
You will soon be together. Have no fear.
Where is she?
What a pity you broke your word to me. Now you must both remain in this house and join our select but cadaverous little company. Imagine being quite dead and yet returning from the grave again and again, as I will it.
Where is she?
You should be proud of your Uncle Conrad. He has conquered death. You hear? I have conquered death. I and I alone understand the secret of life itself.
You're mad.
Not only have I the power to restore the dead, but I can prolong my own existence forever.
Raving mad.
Then if that is so, eternity must be madness. For I am eternity, everlasting without end.
No. No.
we're not on a map.
Oh, look, Bill, light, pull in there.
Knock again, louder.
I should have thought that was loud enough to wake the dead.
Come on in, Morgan. Let them in.
I'm sorry to barge in on you like this, but needs must when the devil drives. You will have to stay here. The misfortune is yours.
He's alive! He's alive, I tell you.
You're afraid, aren't you?
You don't seem to understand. We may be cut off. But this is absurd. Did you hear that? What is it? Listen, there's a madman upstairs. Morgan's let him out and he's dangerous. We've got to do something.
He just wants to destroy, to kill.
This week only, Chewy Pharmacy's huge selection of pet meds is $20 off. Flea and tick prevention? Yep. Allergy meds? Those too. Heartworm medication? On sale. But hurry, these huge savings are happening this week only. Shop now at Chewy.
Death, eternal punishment for anyone who opens this casket.
The mummy. Is it dead or alive? Human or inhuman? You'll know. You'll see. You'll feel the awful, creeping, crawling terror that stands your hair on end and brings a scream to your lips. There's nothing on earth like the mummy.
You will not remember what I show you now, and yet I shall awaken memories of love and crime and death.
Now I know his horrible plan. He is going to kill her and make her a living mummy like himself.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
When this dead hand moves, the monster created by a man they called mad is turned loose to strike terror into the hearts of men. To shock women into uncontrolled hysteria.
Elizabeth!
To prey upon the innocence of children. This is the story you've heard about, talked about. The spine-tingling, blood-chilling story that stuns your emotions. Frankenstein.
Don't touch that!
Old Spice shampoos are scientifically crafted to help guys achieve thick and healthy looking hair.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
When this dead hand moves, the monster created by a man they called mad is turned loose to strike terror into the hearts of men. To shock women into uncontrolled hysteria.
Elizabeth!
To prey upon the innocence of children. This is the story you've heard about, talked about. The spine-tingling, blood-chilling story that stuns your emotions. Frankenstein.
Don't touch that!
Death, eternal punishment for anyone who opens this casket.
The mummy. Is it dead or alive? Human or inhuman? You'll know. You'll see. You'll feel the awful, creeping, crawling terror that stands your hair on end and brings a scream to your lips. There's nothing on earth like the mummy.
You will not remember what I show you now, and yet I shall awaken memories of love and crime and death.
Now I know his horrible plan. He's going to kill her and make her a living mummy like himself.
Tonight, Red Skelton as Clem Cadiddlehopper, Boris Karloff as Dr. Nelson Sr., and Vincent Price as Dr. Nelson Jr. in He Who Steals My Robot Steals Trash.
Down, down, bees, down, bees, down, 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 bees, down, down, down. Now hear this, bees, hear this, bees. This is the command. Now, bumble. I'll teach them a lesson. That's what I'll do.
Clem,
What?
Clem, how did you manage to get them bees so stirred up, so angry?
Well, I wanted some honey for breakfast, and I couldn't get them to set on the waffles. Hey, don't move, don't move.
Why
don't
not?
move. There's
Why not?
one right on your head. Oh, my, oh. She was the daughter of a butterfly, and he was the son of a bee.
Clem Cadiddlehopper,
Yeah.
did you hurt yourself?
Luckily, I hit myself in the head. No, I didn't get hurt.
Clem, do you want to know why I'm sorry I married your mother?
You got me.
That's why I'm sorry. Now look, I've got some news for you.
You have?
Yes, I went right ahead and rented that there barn to a couple of medical scientists.
Medical scientists?
Yes, they are people who study bodies.
Oh, peeping Tom.
No, they're not peeping toms, they're scientists.
Scientists. I used to have that in my nose.
No, they're scientists. No, it's not the same thing. Scientists, it's a father and a son.
Oh, yes?
Now, when you clean up the barn in here, I want you to stay away from their equipment.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because if you do anything wrong, they did. They mixed the wrong chemicals and blew both of them right through the roof.
Isn't that nice to see father and son going out these days?
I want you to clean out the barn.
All right.
And don't forget, before the doctors get here, clean it out. And don't forget, I want you to sweep up the hay if you want breakfast.
Well, I'm tired of having hay for breakfast. I'd like some food if you don't mind.
Clem,
Yes?
you are a moron.
I was never in Salt Lake City in my life.
Salt Lake City? Moron?
Oh, I thought you said Mormon. I'm sorry.
Get going and sweep.
All right, I'll sweep there. Oh, sweep up the barn. Sweep up the barn. Sweep up the barn. Do. That's funny. I had a broom just a minute ago. What happened? Boy, I'll tell you, they think I'm the idiot. How do you... Ramona. Well, what do you know there? Musical very close name. How about that? Oh, boy, look at this thing. Oh, says I got to clean up everything around here. Well, we'll clean it up. And we got... Hey, that looks good. Oh, I ain't going to say it, Curly. No. Well. I think we both need to change your mouth voice there, buddy. Man, that's beer. Oh, there comes them doctors. I've been messing around drinking their stuff without an appointment. I may get in trouble. I'd better get out of here. That's what I'd better do. Hi-ho!
Thank you, Frankie. Thank you. Thank you very much, Frankie. That'll be all.
My, what a pity he shrunk. Never wash a monster in a cheap detergent.
Where are you, Junior?
Here coming, Father. Oh, Daddy. Daddy, I'm so sorry I'm late, but I was just burying the Duke of Blanchard.
Oh, and what did he die from?
The burying.
Well, now, Dr. Nelson Jr., let's get on with our medical experiment.
Our medical experiment. Our medical experiments. It's your experiment. You don't ever let me do anything. I never wanted to be a mad doctor in the first place. I wanted to be a mad dentist.
Now, don't get peevish. You'll get your chance, son, when you're ready. When you create a classic, as I did.
A classic. Oh, big deal. You walk around with heavy feet and a bolt in your head. There are thousands of them walking around these days. And not only that, they all play the guitar.
But with this experiment, my boy, we've created a robot that's almost human. And as soon as we've placed the receiver in the cavity, you'll be able to program it.
Aha! Then we'll have the most lifelike robot that the world has ever seen since Phyllis Diller. And it is Phyllis Diller.
There. Put the wig on. You look better with red hair.
But why red hair?
This isn't a Jackie Gleason show, you know. Well, now, look. He looks intelligent enough to run for office.
Well, that's hardly a test this year.
We can finish the programming later. Now, we've got to call Washington to send us $5 million to turn out assembly line robots.
$5 million?
Yes. Have you got a dime for the phone?
No, I'm sorry, but we can reverse the charges, Pop.
Oh, you fool. You don't know Washington. They'll give you millions. But a collect phone call? Never.
I am here to tell you today that your feelings are valid. Your trauma is valid. Your hurt is your hurt. I discovered BetterHelp 2 years ago and my life changed. You wear these shoes. You know where it hurts. No one can tell you how your shoes hurt you because they are not wearing it for you. If it hurts you, my love, it hurts you. Every human being have different capacity. The capacity you have as a human being is different from the next person. How you react might be completely different, and that's fine because you are you. It is valid. That was a huge aspect of my healing journey because I just felt embarrassed to talk about what I was going through because I felt like it was too light of a situation for me to even consider trauma. Finally, when I was ready to confront that trauma, I had the right support and the help by my side to go through that. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service that is done 100% online. We're busy people and BetterHelp gives you that flexibility. With BetterHelp, you have the opportunity to tap into a diverse network of over 30,000 licensed therapists that are available per your preference, your needs, and your location. It is so easy to get started today. All you have to do is answer a few questions on your needs and preferences when it comes to therapy, and BetterHelp will match you with a therapist that suits those needs and preferences. And if for any reason your match therapist doesn't work with you, you don't feel the energy or the vibe with the therapist, you have the option of changing them at no additional cost. You can choose to text, phone call, or video call your therapist. You don't necessarily have to step out of your house. You could do everything in one space. You definitely don't have to struggle alone. You don't have to fight alone. Whether you actually believe it or not, there are people with similar situations that you have experienced, and there are people who have helped those people through their own trauma.
You're a loafer. I'm not a loafer. You are nothing but a loafer. I told you to clean up this place. Now, when I was your age, I used to milk the cows and everything.
You milk the cows and everything? I bet the chickens and ducks were surprised, boy. Salt Lake City?
Hell,
Now that he's gone, I've got to get the... Hey, fella, I've got to sleep here. We've got to sleep there. Hi there, fella. Hey. Boy, he's dead drunk. Look at him. Hey there. We got... Jackie Gleason? Here, you got to get off of here, buddy. I don't care if you are with their experiment. Out you go there. Out you go. Zip over there. Now, I've got to be awake by noon so I can have my lunch. So I'd better set my eyes for 12 o'clock.
We've got it made, son. Washington say if the robot is a success, then they'll give us an order for $1 million to work in Washington.
Oh, look, it moves its eyes.
It does?
Yes. And its head.
Yeah. Oh, I've been doing that ever since I was 26.
And it talks.
Well, it took me a little longer for that.
Look how smoothly he moves.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he walks without a jerk.
What's that?
I said you walk without a jerk.
You leave yourself wide open, don't you, buddy? I dare you to throw that my way again.
He moves without a jerk.
Care to join me?
Oh. You know, I'm going to program him. Now, where is his microphone?
In his nose, stupid.
In his nose. All right. Let me see. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, why not?
I'll tell you why not. Now for the supreme test.
The supreme test.
See if he can follow orders without asking questions or thinking.
Like a vice president.
Now, here's the test I'm going to put in. The test. Walk over there.
Walk over there. Oh, all right. Oh, how about that? Look at that.
He does the idiot walk. You hold her, I'll milk her, buddy. Turn around.
Turn around.
Open your mouth. Look intelligent.
It's the idiot look, too.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Junior, we're on our way to Washington.
All right, take him with us.
Just a minute. Just a cotton-picking minute. Where are you taking him?
Well, to Washington. He's going to revolutionize the world.
Yeah, we're going to stamp out intelligence. That's what we're going to do.
Junior, hurry up. We got to get to Washington. Well, they're still handing out money for nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Hello, Clem! Clem! They've taken my son, Clem. Clem! Clem is gone. Clem is gone. Ma, we finally got rid of Clem.